Jesus answered and said to them, "Indeed, Elijah is coming first and will restore all things." Matthew 17:11.
Most Christians are familiar with the prophecy in Matthew. Elijah must come first to restore all things before the Lord returns. Because of this, there is a deep-seated expectation that Elijah will appear in person. But here is a chilling thought. What if the false prophet of Revelation will exploit this specific expectation? What if he poses as Elijah to prepare the way for a false Messiah? We are not saying this will happen, but the Lord Jesus warned us to beware of end times deception, and this is a lookout you need to have on your radar.
An underrated beast.
In the study of the end times, we focus heavily on the first beast, aka the beast with the mark, or the one some refer to as the Antichrist. But the second beast, the false prophet, is just as dangerous. He too works in tandem with Satan, and he is the one who deceives the masses with lying signs and wonders. A quick reminder of who the beasts of Revelation are. The first one, who rises from the sea, is described as a political figure to rule the world as a god. And the second one, who rises from the earth, is a religious figure, the false prophet, who would enforce the worship of the first beast.
Does the chronology fit?
If the false prophet wants to claim he's Elijah, who's come to prepare the way for the Lord, he would need to appear before the false Messiah. You might wonder, if the false prophet is the second beast, doesn't he appear after the false Messiah? Not necessarily. Consider Jesus and John the Baptist. Even though John started his ministry before Jesus, he's introduced after him in 3 of the Gospels. This was, on the one hand, due to Jesus' preeminence, but also it was logically consistent. To introduce John as the one pointing to Jesus, it made sense to first introduce Jesus. And similarly in the book of Revelation, to introduce the false prophet as the one pointing to the false Messiah, it makes sense to first introduce the false Messiah. And here's another hint that the second beast may show up first. In Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, we are told, "Woe to the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you." But then in chapter 13, the false Messiah rises from the sea and the false prophet rises from the earth. The order is reversed, likely for literal clarity.
Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. Matthew 7:15.
Here's what many Christians miss. The warnings in the New Testament regarding end-time deception were addressed to Christians. This means that the deceivers will be attempting to deceive us, the Christians. How? The only way for them to try and deceive us is by masquerading as angels of light. The false prophet will be a man of the church. He will be a wolf in sheep's clothing. The book of Revelation says this about him: he has horns like a lamb. The lamb symbolizes a Christian, and the horns symbolize authority. This means he has the appearance of a Christian minister. But he speaks like a dragon, meaning he speaks subtle deception like the devil. With subtlety, he sows heresies in the hearts of Christians to prepare them for receiving the first beast as the Messiah. The New Testament warns repeatedly of false prophets and false apostles. In Acts chapter 20, Paul warns the elders of the church in Ephesus that from among them would arise men speaking twisted things to draw away the disciples after them. Indeed, the most dangerous deception comes from within the leadership of the church.
The Counterfeit Miracle.
So if this man wants us to believe he is Elijah, how will he try to convince us? He might attempt to model his persona after John the Baptist, using words John was famously known for, such as, "I am a voice crying in the wilderness," or "He must increase, but I must decrease." He would do this to build a connection in our minds between himself and Elijah, since John came in the spirit and power of Elijah. But more than this, he might try to replicate one of Elijah's famous miracles. Elijah is known for many miracles in the Old Testament, but by far the most famous one was calling down fire from the sky on Mount Carmel. This false shepherd, working with the enabling of the devil, is said to do just that.
He performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Revelation 13:13.
Furthermore, by adopting a humble, lamb-like persona, he makes the spectacular miracle of fire seem like a legitimate act of God himself rather than a lying sign.
What are we to do?
In the end, the false prophet of Revelation may or may not pose as Elijah, but for sure he will be a man of the church who is a master deceiver. He will largely defend biblical truths and values to win our trust, while craftily injecting them with heresies to try and lead us toward the first beast. We are to remain vigilant, knowing the true gospel and testing all teachings against Scripture.